Hi, everybody. Welcome to Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I hope you can see me clearly. I'm copying my friend Erica. My hair is going everywhere tonight, so I thought I'd put a hat on and keep it impact. And I'm glad to see I've got one of my team members, Cherie, here, although she's only in on audio, but she can't get a camera going. But it's great to have somebody else joining me. So the reason for tonight's webinar, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, is because I know that everybody feels fear. It's part of the human experience to feel a fear. And I wanted to share two experiences I've had in the last few months where I've really felt the fear and I've done it anyway. And if you've read any of my blogs at workwithhelenlinger.com, you'll have read about these. But one was in December, January, I went to the UK. And on my way back from the UK to New Zealand, I went to Vegas for an event. And I planned it before I went. I was going to go with some friends to the Grand Canyon and Sedona. And I'd wanted to see the Grand Canyon for years. But Sedona was a new thing to me, and I'd heard it was beautiful, and two friends of mine live in the vicinity, and they'd said, you must go, you have to go. And as I was preparing to go to the Grand Canyon Sedona, and I've just realized I haven't introduced myself at all here. I'm just assuming that you all know who I am. So I'll quickly just say, my name is Helen Lingard. I'm a single mum. I'm a coach, I'm a blogger, and I'm passionate about helping people overcome their challenges, overcome their fears. Like I have over the years, I've had lots of challenges, lots of fears, and one by one I push through them. And I'm kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm me, and only the last year probably, I've actually been totally happy being on camera. So I understand everybody who says, I don't want to get on camera. But when you get on camera and you embrace the fact, okay, I don't like everything about me, but I love this about me, I love that, and just realize that you're there on camera to help other people and to share your stories. So that's in a nutshell me. I've got emptiness at the moment. Both my kids have grown up and moved away. Very proud of them for doing that at such a young age. So back to my story. So I was about to leave Vegas and travel to the Grand Canyon and then to Sedona. And on checking my transport for coming back to Vegas, because my flight back to New Zealand was booked from Vegas. And on checking my transport back from Sedona, I was arranging to go to Sedona and spend a night at a friend's place and have a look around Sedona, and I can tell you what it was. And I discovered that the transport I had expected to get from Sedona to Phoenix back to Vegas didn't go in January, which is winter. And I thought, oh no, in fact, my language wasn't quite that sweet. It was a lot worse than that. And I thought, oh no. And my friends were getting organized to go traveling, and they were taking me as far as Grand Canyon. In fact, they were coming to Sedona with me. So we started looking at all the options, and one friend of mine said, oh no, don't go, don't bother going. Stay in Vegas, enjoy yourself in Vegas, and plenty to see and do in Vegas. And I thought, no, I want to go to the Grand Canyon, and I want to go to Sedona. So we looked at other options, and my friend said, oh, there's another airport in, I think you say Albuquerque. You can fly back from Albuquerque. There's different options. I looked at the options, and flying was an option, but it was quite an expensive option. And so another friend of mine said, oh, well, I'll look into options for you getting back from Sedona. And fortunately, I managed to there was a taxi firm, but it was so synchronistic. If you're into anything woohoo, this is woohoo, and if you're not, then just please bear with me. So what happened was we went to the Grand Canyon, which was hilarious because it was white out, not in the way of the snow, but fog, so we could hardly see a thing. So I had this wonderful image of what the Grand Canyon would look like, and I just had to imagine it because we just had this total whiteout, just fog. And I would get so excited because we arrived there. And I'm always quite a fast walker. So I ran ahead of my friends, Shannon and Teresa. And I said, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. And I stood on the edge, and it was just white out. Couldn't see a thing. And all these other tourists had arrived too. So we're all in the same boat. So we walked back, and we went and had a coffee and something to eat. And I would be rushing again up to the edge to see, can we see anything at all? Can we see anything at all? And bit by bit, it improved. And if you go to my blog, Work with Helen Lingard, and look at I think there's, in fact, I'll have to put it underneath this recording because I can't remember the name of the blog I called it. And then, so that was one instance where I was terrified. And I have to say, they dropped me off at Sedona because they were driving a long way. They were driving back to, I forget where they come from now, actually. My geography of the States is not good. But they were driving for a long, long time after they dropped me in. So it was the first time. I've traveled on my own before, but I haven't stayed on my own in a house, not a hotel, in a house. And I had no one around, you know, and so I was basically on my own. I had my computer and I had internet, but it was quite surreal. But what was interesting was we went down to, my sister had recommended going to Red Rocks and Cathedral Rock. So we went down to this beautiful place, and again, it was actually I've used part of this on the invite for this hangout, and we went down there, and it was quite incredible. I was talking to this man. We got talking to this man. They were doing some photography for a wedding, his son's wedding, and I said to him, you know, I said, oh, I'm from the UK, but I live in New Zealand. I'm going back to New Zealand, and I said the shuttle doesn't work from here to Phoenix in the winter. And he said, oh no, yes it does. Yes, there's a shuttle. It's a shuttle. And he said to me, and I forget her name, this lovely lady runs it. And he gave me the number. So after we spent hours at Cathedral Rock, because it's such a beautiful place, and I recommend you go to Sedona and you go to Cathedral Rock because it's just a beautiful area to be. It's so spiritual. And when you go there, there's just a wonderful presence you feel. It's just so peaceful. I mean, we spent about an hour or two there, but I could have stayed. Well, in fact, we did stay. We stayed till the sunset, but I could have stayed all night there. It was just beautiful, just a fantastic setting, and I should certainly go there again. So anyway, had dinner, and then the girls dropped me off, and I was alone in this house, you know, in this strange place. But whilst it was scary, it was also exciting to be in this wonderful place. And so I was trying to ring this lady. This man had given me this lady's number to ring to get the shuttle. I was trying to ring her, and I just kept getting that this person doesn't have a voicemail. So I thought, okay, that's fine. So I rang the taxi firm, and I said I'd like a taxi, and it was 45 minutes drive, so I knew it wasn't going to be cheap. And the next morning, when I'd done my sightseeing, I walked into Sedona on my own, and I'm not very good with finding my way around, so I'd use Google Maps, and I walked in, and I'd been recommended these great places to go, Chocolate Tree, and I went into this amazing place. Actually, it was called Anything You Want, and it was I don't know what the polite way to call it really, but it was basically a place that sold everything to get high. And I walked in. I thought, oh, this is interesting. So I walked around. I wasn't going to buy anything, and I was going later that day and getting the coach. So I was staying very, very sober, for want of a better word. I was staying sober. And it's quite funny, as I went to walk out the shop, the guy said to me, would you like some tea? And I said, I would love some tea. I mean, British, we love tea. And then I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, I hope it's clean tea. I hope it's not, you know, not high tea, but I hope it's not spiked tea or something. And so I thought, oh, I hope. But anyway, I tasted, oh, it's just delicious. It was delicious. So anyway, I walked out there and I walked home and home. But it was just Sedona, just awe-inspiring. All these high rocks, it's just coming to mind. It's my father, because he would, and it's just a beautiful place to go. So I strongly recommend you go. It's a long way to go. It's quite a long drive, but it's just, as you drive there, it's, oh my goodness, the scenery is just amazing. So anyway, so the next morning, about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, this taxi came to pick me up. And it was a lady driving the taxi. I thought, oh, that's nice, a lady taxi driver. This is good. So I got in there, and I got my suitcases in there as we drove, and we had 45 minutes, so we had a good old chat. And it turned out that this lady who's driving this taxi was the same lady who used to run the shuttle. This guy had given me her name, and she didn't do the shuttle anymore because, unfortunately, her marriage just split up, and she did it when she was married. But I just thought it was so synchronistic that the lady taking me in the taxi to Flagstaff to get the coach was the same lady this guy recommended to take me on the shuttle. She was just lovely, just dear. And then another thing where I face my fears, because for me, facing your fears is all about the attitude you have. You've got to have the attitude that this is going to work. this is a great adventure and I'm doing it and it's all going to work out fine. You've got to have that intention. And I was taking a Greyhound from Flagstaff to Phoenix to, no, not Phoenix, sorry. Are we Phoenix? Yes, Flagstaff to Phoenix to get the Greyhound. No, Flagstaff to Las Vegas, sorry. Anyway, so I've lost my track of thought now. Oh yes, I was getting this Greyhound and I'd been warned, oh my goodness, a woman going a Greyhound alone. Which always makes me laugh, because whilst there's some things I fear, traveling alone on a Greyhound is just not one of them. It just doesn't scare me. I mean, you know, jumping off a mountain, you know, might scare me, but traveling, you know, so, and what I found, and I want to share with you guys, is for me, I arrived at the Greyhound and I just smiled. And for me, it was a great adventure. I'm not a great traveler on coaches. I drive everywhere. But I just thought, oh, this is going to be good. You know, I'm meeting all these different people and I met all these different tourists. And the minute I opened my mouth, you know, I had this strange accent. I'm British with a Kiwi accent. And the minute I said New Zealand, oh, I want to go there. And so it just opened up a whole lot of conversations. So I would say, if you're ever traveling on your own, be prepared to talk to people. Get to know people, be friendly, be open, have the right attitude, have the attitude, as I said earlier, that this is going to be great. This is an adventure. Who can I meet? What can I gain from this? And as long as you have that attitude rather than, oh, gosh, I'm so shy. Oh, who can I talk to? That was me 30 years ago, you know, oh, I'm so shy. But, you know, I've been there, done that, learned a lot. So I'm no longer that person. So I decided to I got on the coach, and it was funny because there was a lady with a Dachshund was going to go. Apparently she'd been traveling on the coach, and Dachshunds, dogs, it's like a magnet for me. And I grew up with Dachshunds, and my sister's got a Dachshund, so I was very attracted to. I wanted to go and sail as the Dachshund, but I realised that this lady who'd be on the coach, she had some mental health problems, and people were, I mean, not that that bothers me at all. People were saying, you know, I'm not sure the dog's been fed and blah, blah. And then as I was about to go and say hello to this dog, you know, with a lady, the police arrived and they were trying to move her on because apparently I'm not sure whether she'd been paying for her trip on the Greyhound. I don't know. But that was just an example of the sort of people you meet. And, you know, people got off the coach and they were just, you know, all sights and sounds, basically. So I got on. And I got my seat right at the front of the bus. I had a first class, what you'd call a business class seat at the front of the coach. It was just fantastic. I could see everything. And contrary to what I thought, leather seats and Wi-Fi and comfort, and it was just fantastic. And everybody was very friendly, so it was wonderful. And again, contrary to what you might think, they stopped regularly. I mean, it was maybe it was longer actually. It was probably quite a long journey. I forget how long it took now. But we stopped regularly at these great, I'm not quite sure what you call them. They call them services in the UK, but they're not. Well, it was a garage, and they'd have a food area too. And so everyone went in there and bought food. And these stopped. We had about, I don't know, 2 or 3 stops. People had got out and had fag breaks. And you chatted to people. You went in the shop and you went to the loo and you bought some food. It was fantastic, honestly. The only downside, I think, well, not the downside, but when I arrived in Vegas, I was the other end of Vegas to where I needed to be. And they said, oh, the taxi's right next door. And I had to walk for a while to get a taxi. And yeah, it was a lot further than I imagined, but that was great. And then the next thing was so hilarious. Again, all out of my comfort zone, but I saw it as an adventure. So I told the taxi driver, I must be very naive because I didn't know what the MGM Grand was. I'd found it on not TripAdvisor. There's a discount place when you look for a hotel on the internet, and then you can go to and I'll put this underneath the recording. I forget what it's called, but it's a place you can go and you get discount hotels. And when I did this, the MGM Grand turned out to be quite cheap. When I arrived there, I couldn't believe how huge it is, and it's like the gambling mecca of Vegas. And I'm not a gambler at all. I have no interest. You know, I have to say, had I gone with a friend, I might have had the odd, you know, go with a few, I don't know what you call them, dimes or whatever. But I'm certainly not really interested in any way of gambling. But it was fascinating, and my room was about 5 miles away from reception. So that was hilarious. And because it's so big, you didn't have a window, and it was just incredible. And the place I wanted to go to, again, I had no idea when I booked the MGM Grand. I should have looked it up, really. I would suggest that when you go somewhere on your own, you carefully look up where the hotel is in relation to where you want to go to, because the MGM Grand was miles away from, I wanted to go to the, now, excuse my Italian, the Bellagio Hotel, which has the fountains. Oh my goodness. So I got in, and I think I had a quick shower and got changed and started to walk. And I would have probably been, I probably wasn't, but I felt like I was the only person, excuse me, just getting a drink. I think I was the only person who was on their own, certainly the only woman. And it was a good half-hour walk from the MGM Grand to see the Bellagio. But oh my goodness, what a treat. And this is what happens when you feel the fear and do it anyway. Your expectations are so, I mean, you have to ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? And what's the best that can happen too? And me walking, my feet were killing me. I was tired. But oh, when you get to Bellagio and quarter past the hour, I think it starts at 9:15. Maybe it's 7:15, I forget now, it's been a while. The fountains go off and they're playing, oh, one of my favorites. Who is it? Andre Bocelli, I think it is. Oh my goodness, the tears are in my eyes, and the fountains go off and they're all colorful, and hundreds of people are standing around watching. It's just amazing. Vegas is amazing. Been there, done that. I'm not sure I want to go again, but it's just, oh, it's incredible. So I wandered around. I went through Bellagio because I'd heard you need to go through the back, and I got myself a nice crepe Suzette, which I love. I just love. And then I made my way back to the hotel and collapsed. And but it was just amazing. And I wandered around the gambling, and it's a whole village in the MGM Grand. It's a whole village, and downstairs there's a big fish tank. And I didn't know, and I'm glad I didn't at the time. But apparently downstairs they've got some wild animals in the basement, and I'm glad I didn't go there, because I think I like to see animals in wildlife parks or whatever, or in a safari, but I don't want to see them in a building. And I also didn't realize, I remember leaving, as I was leaving, I saw that there was going to be this big fight. I saw there was couldn't tell you the names because I'm not into boxing at all. And then of course one of the boxers arrived, and I noticed that everyone was going over to him and getting their photograph taken with him. And I had no idea that the MGM Grand is the place where all these big boxing matches happen. I mean, it just wasn't my type of thing at all. I'm more countryside, beaches, etc. But having said that, it was a great experience and well worth going. So that was my first experience of feeling the fear and do it anyway. So I got my taxi, which that was a whole different thing. The first shuttle I booked didn't turn up. So I got my taxi back to the airport and made my way back to New Zealand. And then again, not a month ago, I'm talking about 2 weeks ago, I had been to a yoga class, and I hadn't planned to go to this event at all in Nashville, but I'd gone to the yoga class, and our yoga teacher had said to us how you should be spending half an hour in the garden or in the sunshine, because the sun's good for you, vitamin D and all that sort of stuff. And a really good thing to do is to meditate in the sunshine and ask questions. So I was given this opportunity to go to Nashville and go to this mastermind before the event. And I wasn't prepared to go, but I just thought, I know I could learn so much from going. So I went out into the garden and I did this meditation, and it was quite amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I asked, again, depending on what you're open to, whether it's God, universe, but I said, do I go? Do I go? Tell me, do I go? And I got the answer, yes, you go for your mum and your kids, because some of my wives are seeing my mum more often in the UK, and my kids, helping my kids out. That's just one of my wives. I've got lots of other wives too. And so I said, yes, go for your wives. And I came in and I was in tears. It was just ridiculous. I was in tears. So I booked my trip and I was petrified. I was absolutely, I don't know why, but again, out of my comfort zone. I was going, I didn't really know the people I was going to see. I knew them vaguely. And so I had said, yes, I'm going, and I'd booked my trip. And I connected with the wonderful lady who I'm still in touch with, who did some tapping with me to release my fears. And I must say, I was scared even going, flying, everything. And I love flying, but it was out of my comfort zone. So what I'd say about facing your fears and do it anyway, it's quite funny because there's some things I fear are quite incredible. I mean, like technology. I don't like doing some technology things. I really, really scare me. And yet, I've done a bungee jump 20 odd years ago, and I've done a skydive a few years ago. And I don't think anything, traveling on my own doesn't bother me. I've traveled across the UK many times on my own. I've been to Hong Kong on my own, and I enjoy. And I have to say, when I went to Nashville recently, I had to get out of my comfort zone, because when I was younger, I didn't like meeting new people, and now I enjoy it. I'm somebody, because I've been there, I've been the person who was a wallflower and didn't want to meet people. So now I feel very much for people who don't want to meet people or are scared to. So I'm very much somebody who will go out of my way to help people who are on their own. And so when I went to Nashville, I met about 20 people I didn't know, and I stayed with them. And then I didn't have a room for a night, so I had to ask people for a room in a strange place. So that was really out of my comfort zone. And I found this amazing lady, Casey, who let me stay in her room, and we just had a ball. Talk about meant for each other. Not in that way, but she's happily married, she's got a lovely husband. But it was just fantastic. We spent 24 hours together. And then once again, when I got to the event, I had two new people, Suzanne and Mervet, to meet, and staying with them in their room. But what I found was, being on my own, getting out of my comfort zone, made me even more confident. I noticed, in fact, I noticed before, in between these two trips, I went out for dinner, and I was supposed to meet some friends, and my friends didn't turn up. So I had dinner on my own in a pub in Wellington recently. I wouldn't have done that a while ago. If something would have been so my comfort, I just would not have done that. But I quite enjoyed it. And then in Nashville, I had breakfast and dinner on my own at times, and I just felt so independent. It was just amazing. So I would say to you, do the meditation. Ask your, whatever you want to call the higher spirit or whatever. Do I do this? And you will get the answer. If it's too, generally it's good for us to get out of our comfort zone. So you'll probably get the answer to go with the fear, and know that it's taking you towards your goal, or it's whatever you want to do. Know it's taking you there. You're getting closer towards your goal. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Please leave comments, either under when I post this on Facebook or under the YouTube, whether you've done something and you've faced your fears and what happened. Because generally, most often, when you face your fears, things are never as bad, and in fact, it's a lot better. Before I just ask Cherie a question, I just want to just share with you, when I was on my way back to New Zealand after doing this recently, a friend of mine on Facebook connected with me, and she said, "Can you give me some advice?" She said, "I'm crying and I'm really stressed, and I've got a new job to go to." Now, I'd been in that situation. I'd had many situations where I'd been crying and being stressed with getting out of my comfort zone. And I worked through them, and I just released it all and got through it. So I said the same to her. And I said to her, visualize how you want your day, your first day to go, how you want this new job to go, and see yourself have it all go really well. And she's been in touch with me since. She said, "I've done what you said, and it's just been beautiful. It's the best job I could have ever asked for." So, when you face your fears and do it anyway, things have a habit of working out. And it's about having that right attitude and knowing that things will work out. And when you know something, when you have absolute faith things will work out, they will. So I hope that's helped you. Cherie, have you ever, done anything where you've faced your fears and done it anyway and it's worked out well?
Just a few times, I suppose. Before I got my grandchildren, I spent 12 months where it was almost like a bucket list, and I made a list of things that I was really frightened of, like I'm dead scared of heights. And I went on this huge big bridge up in Brisbane and stood right at the edge and looked straight down, and it was terrifying.
Oh,
but,
wow.
My kids laugh at me because they hang off the edge of things like that, and go, "Yay!" And I'm like hanging on for dear life going, "Oh my God." But yeah, I did a few things like that, crossed them off. I went being alone, like you were saying, going places alone.
Yes.
That was a big one for me. I was what, late 40s, and I'd never gone out by myself. And a girlfriend was supposed to be going out with me one night, and she dumped me. She dropped me and said, "This is it, you can do it," and left me. And I had to get through the night, and I did, and I met somebody who was really great, and just sort of stopping in the town and wanted to have someone to dance with. Didn't want anything else. It was wonderful. I had a great night, met some really lovely people, and learnt to go out by myself. So, absolutely. Yeah, and this business, this would be a very scary one. I keep coming up against this stuff I have no idea how to do. And every time I get my head around something, I walk straight into something else. And yeah, but yeah, I keep going because yes, I want my life to be so much better.
Absolutely. Somebody said to me the other day that each day is a different devil to get past. And that's so true. Yeah. And I watched, I saw Wild, but I've seen it twice now, Wild with Reese Witherspoon. And it's quite amazing. There's, she's gone through a tough life. She's lost her mother and she's gone through a tough time. So she sets out on the, I can't remember what it's called, the Pacific, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a long walk and she's never walked before. And she walks with this huge rucksack on her back on her own. Now that would be a feat, honestly. And one scene, I won't give the film away because it's just an amazing film. At one stage, she's got to climb this huge rock, and that's what life is like at times. Challenges are like. You've got to climb this huge rock or a mountain, and she takes her pack off. She manages to take her pack off and get herself over this rock. And then the sense of satisfaction when she's got over this huge rock and she's got a bag over. And, you know, she's put a bag back in her back because her bag is so heavy, you know, it gives her marks on her shoulders and stuff. But what's the sense you feel when you've achieved something that you're so scared of, or you've fought so gallantly to get over that mountain or to get over that rock and think, oh, yes. And that is the feeling you have when you face your fears and you do it anyway. And you think, oh, it's so worth it. Because that's how I felt when I got to Nashville. Just so worth going there. So, yes, I'm glad. That's great to hear your story anyway, Cherie.
Thanks.
And it's all about facing those fears and doing it anyway.
Yep, definitely.
And we'll have to get your camera working next time, Cherie, so you can be live on here.
I don't know what happened to it. It's maybe it's just not meant to work tonight.
Well, that could be. Well, you've made the step anyway. You've come out, and at least you're on audio, so that's halfway there.
Another fear to face.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, guys, that's it for tonight. I hope you've enjoyed this Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I'll be posting this on my Facebook wall. I'll also put it into a blog. And please do leave your comments. And I'll be back, hopefully with Cherie and some others, next Thursday at the same time. And I look forward to catching you then. Take care and have a good day, night, morning, wherever you are.
Thanks, Helen. Take care.
Bye-bye.